attended Tel Aviv University, got a degree in statutory law, and he also taught there. He served, of course, in the IDF and reached the rank of lieutenant colonel. He's been active in politics throughout his career. He was involved with the Shinui Party, has also been involved with labor, and served as the chairman of its legal committee. His name came up for the Supreme Court in 2007, and he was appointed to the Supreme Court as a justice in August of 2007. It was considered historical because it was the first time that a lawyer from the private sector was chosen to serve on the Supreme Court. He was involved in an unprecedented decision in 2009 in which the government was ordered to demolish illegally built Palestinian homes in the West Bank. Your Honor, I also just wanted to add something personal. I am a person who converted to Judaism by a conservative rabbi. And I'm a passionate Zionist, and I've raised my children as passionate Zionists in the United States. I served as the president of our large synagogue in the Midwest of the United States. And I love coming to Israel, but I became involved in the Masorti movement because it grieves me to know that my children, who are proud Zionists and who have come to Israel themselves 4 or 5 times and have studied here, would not be considered Jewish. It hurts me a lot to even say that out loud. But I know that you are concerned about this issue, and we're looking forward, all of us conservative leaders, are looking forward to hearing from you about this issue that is coming before the court, and recognizing non-Orthodox conversions. It's personal to me. I'm sure it's personal to many of the people in this room. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I want to welcome you here in the court and to apologize on behalf of Justice Rubinstein, who originally had to appear before you due to something that came up medically with his family. He couldn't attend, but he asked me to replace him. But I must tell you that he got once a doctorate, an honor doctorate from the conservative movement. So he knows the movement and wanted very much to be here, but due to something that came up, he couldn't attend. Now, I don't know whether you have noticed already that in Israel everything is divided into 3, and so will be my talk today. So, at the beginning, I'll, because you came, to show empathy to Israel in this situation, I'll allow myself to tell you something personal about the situation. Then I'll speak about the uniqueness of the court, which is a Supreme Court, which is very unique in the Supreme Courts of all democratic countries. And then I'll open it for questions. Now, due to our role, I'll hear all your questions. I can't promise you that I'll answer all your questions. And even the issue you have raised, I'm telling you, it's before the court, so I will not comment on that. And it's not just before the court, I'm sitting on the bench on this matter. But I have to tell you that, as you've told people here, I was appointed to the Supreme Court, the first one to be appointed from the private practice, but I was also a teacher in the Tel Aviv University. But 30 years ago, about 35 years ago, I was representing the reform movement and the conservative movement in a petition to the Supreme Court to allow the rabbis of both movements to let's say, to arrange marriages in Israel. And after...
Thank you for mentioning it. We didn't want to mention it.
Okay. And during the case, and due to the fact that it looked to the government that the law doesn't forbid rabbis from both movements to organize marriages, the law was changed. And then we lost the case. So that is something that I wanted to mention. Was 35 years ago, and later on I didn't represent anymore the two movements for about 25 years before I was nominated. But it was when I was very young. Okay, so that is one thing. Now, the second personal thing that I want to tell you, you know, it's like today when the war or the operation started. I'm saying whether it's a war or an operation. As a matter of fact, it's a pity. Are you staying tomorrow as well?
Yes.
Because tomorrow there'll be we will hear a case whether it's a war. Whatever is going on is called a war or an operation. And so it's a very interesting case. By the way, in the United States, that issue was raised several times as well due to the debate between the president and the Congress, who has the power to declare war. And tomorrow we are hearing that case. I'm sitting on the bench as well. And so for the time being, again, I will not comment on that, but I'll use either the word war or the word operation, and it doesn't matter for all practical purposes for the lecture today. Whenever I use it, it's just for practical reasons. So about months ago, when the war started, my son, my youngest son, was, as a matter of fact, at the end of his army service, regular army service. As a matter of fact, he had to finish it already. He and all his friends who had to finish the service were asked whether they are willing to stay. He was in a very fighting unit all the time, or they, as they are entitled to according to law, they are allowed to leave. Most of the soldiers, and my son as well, decided to stay. And although they finished their duty for 3 years, and then he went into Gaza, and I didn't hear, neither I nor my wife nor our other children, we didn't hear from him for 8 days, and they were fighting. Suddenly, I had to sit on the bench. It was 3 weeks ago. On Thursday, I got a telephone telling me that he was wounded and he is being taken by a helicopter to the hospital of Tel HaShomer, which is let's say, the main hospital and the most serious hospital in Israel. And again, I don't want to say anything about other hospitals, but it's considered to be the most serious hospital in Israel. Then they told me that, I asked, what is it about? They told me that he was shot in the back. They didn't tell me anything beside that. I asked, of course, whether he can move his hands and legs, and they said yes. So I told them, okay, so how come that they are taking him by a helicopter to the hospital of Tel HaShomer, which only very serious wounded people who were injured or wounded are being taken there. They said, we don't have the time to give you more details. You'll get it when you come to the hospital. Of course, I and all our family, we ran to the hospital. As a matter of fact, the helicopter came before we arrived there. And then we found out that during the fight they had, a sniper, and they didn't tell me that, tried to shoot him in the head. And then, as a matter of fact, he succeeded to hit him in the helmet. The bullet went through the helmet and really injured his head as well. And the question was whether it went into the brain or not. That was the reason they took him to Tel HaShomer. Now I'm telling you it's dramatic, but everything is okay because 4 millimeters it went through the helmet, but and it made a hole in his head, but it didn't get into his brain, and just 4 millimeters saved him. So you are religious people, so you can say, thanks God, it was a nest. And so it happened. Beside that, he got 2 fragments in his back, so that is a side effect. And one was taken out, the other one is too deep, so they couldn't take it out. So he'll have a fragment in his body for the rest of his life. But now he's okay. He went out from the hospital, and so we leave. And in the meanwhile, once he went out from the hospital, my older son, who is in the parachutes, was drafted, and he is already 3 weeks there, waiting to see. He's on the edge to see what will go on. So usually I don't, tell personal things, but due to the fact that you came to identify with us, I felt free to tell you the story. And beside that, we are going on. Of course, for 3 days I was with my child in the hospital, and then I came back and tried to forget as much as I can and to work as much as I can, so that I will not think all the time about his situation. But now, more or less, everything is okay. Okay, so that is I finished the first personal part. Now I'll go to the uniqueness of the court. The Israeli court, is very unique for several reasons. First of all, here it's a little bit like the Supreme Court in the United States, it combines 3 courts in 1 court. For instance, if we compare it to the situation in European countries, or to what is called the continental system, we, as the Supreme Court of the United States and the Supreme Court of England, we are 3 courts in 1 court. What does it mean? We are a court, the highest court of appeal of civil and criminal matters and administrative matters. So we hear all appeals from the district courts of Israel. There are 6 district courts in Israel, and we are the high court of appeal of all those matters. So that is the first function. By the way, in Europe, in several countries, even that function is divided into 3. There is a Supreme Court for hearing, a Court of Appeal for hearing civil matters, a Supreme Court, or let's say a Court of Appeal hearing criminal cases, a separate one to hear civil cases, and separate one to hear administrative cases. So even in the first functions, in several countries in Europe, like France, like Germany, like really big countries like